Your vote 2024, the NATO summit in Washington is now a public test for President Joe Biden, whose health and cognitive capacity have come into question as of late. Our Washington correspondent, Julia Benbrook, joins us live at the White House with more on this. Julia, good evening to you.
Good evening, Phil. The NATO leaders are in Washington, D.C. at a critical moment. All eyes are on the presidential election here in the United States, and the outcome of that election could have a significant impact on the future of this alliance.
World leaders converging in Washington for a landmark summit to commemorate 75 years of NATO and to decide how best to support Ukraine amid the continued threat of a hostile and undeterred Russia.
The outcome of this war will shape global security for decades to come.
This summit comes amid mounting concerns in the United States and abroad about President Joe Biden's fitness for office after last month's presidential debate against former President Donald Trump.
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have that test. Everything I do. You know, not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world.
The U.S. has historically been the biggest financial contributor to NATO. And while Biden is a staunch proponent of the alliance, Trump purportedly threatened to withdraw from NATO while he was in office and has refused to commit to defending member nations that don't meet spending expectations, views he has maintained during his 2024 campaign.
One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay.
The political uncertainty in the U.S. leaves NATO countries contemplating what the alliance would look like if Trump wins the election in November.
Now, during his opening speech on Tuesday, Biden announced plans to supply new air defenses to Ukraine. On the sidelines of this summit is Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who said that everyone is waiting for November, but he urged international leaders not to wait for November or any other month to aid his war-torn country. Reporting live at the White House, Julia Benbrook, Wish TV.
All right, Julia, good information. Thank you so much.